last few years, a lot of ex-vegans have appeared in the online space, and in today's video I wanted to share why I no longer condemn people who eat meat, whether it's just because they don't know about veganism or whether they're actually going back to eating animal products. Now, for me personally, I do want to be straight. Veganism is my backbone, it's my life. I love it so much, and I don't ever see myself going back to consuming animal products. And at the same time, there have been a few people in my close environment who did go back to animal products in the last couple of weeks, months, and I really have shifted my perspective a lot around it and felt really called to share this on my channel today. So let's get right into it. The first reason why I no longer condemn people is because I truly believe that veganism is about compassion, about love, about joy for all beings, not just for the animals, but also just in general. So when we resist people around us who choose to maybe incorporate some eggs or some meat into their diet, then we're no longer having compassion for them. Of course, it is important to note that, it is not something that I personally would support myself, like consuming those things. But if I resist other people who choose to do that, then I'm no longer in a state of love, which I think is like the true goal of veganism, is to remove suffering from this planet, and that we can step into a vibration of love, a vibration of joy, and just abundance, where everyone is feeling good and no one is feeling harmed or restricted in their freedom. And also another really, really important point I want to mention here, which maybe doesn't have so much with veganism to do, but just in generally being compassionate, is if you truly put yourself into someone else's shoes and you knew what they're going through, maybe you would actually choose the same thing. So when I still was working with people who had disabilities and I was assisting them in their everyday life, I did actually have some clients that I prepared animal products for. And I did have a friend who felt really triggered by that, and I'm no longer vegan because I'm preparing animal products for someone else. But later on, she was in a similar situation and had told me in the aftermath that she no longer feels that type of trigger or resentment because she now understands what I was going through, that I literally didn't really feel like I had a choice because I loved the work so much. I wanted to do it, so I was willing to make that sacrifice. And at the same time, I also have some friends who just became parents, who are super stressed and busy and just need something to help them through this period, and they acknowledge that veganism is the ideal, but they at the same time also know that it's just not possible for them right now to do it, which probably if they really wanted, of course they could still make it work. But I respect it, and I think maybe if I was in their shoes and I had all the challenges that they have going on right now, I don't know, maybe like I would choose the same, like really taking into consideration everything, maybe also their viewpoint about life and everything. So doesn't mean that I have the same viewpoint, and yes, sometimes I do feel like anger or resentment coming up, but then I'm like, I still love them so much, and I don't want to go into that state of resistance, into that state of because it doesn't feel good. And to me, veganism, also just the health aspect, it's about feeling good. That's why I do it, because when I eat plants, I just feel so good. I'm on top of the world mentally, emotionally, because I'm no longer absorbing the suffering from the animals through the food I eat, but also just because it digests so much easier when I eat plants. And that's why I do it, because I love life and I want to feel good. So then when I start resisting the people around me who don't choose the same that I choose, which I believe is the truth and is the ultimate, then I'm going to be the one who's suffering, and then that just defeats the whole purpose of veganism to me. So that is another point. And also, I have found out over time by talking with a lot of people that veganism, even though it maybe seems like it has grown a lot because we're in our vegan bubble with all the other vegans, but it is still a really, really small movement. I talked with a friend of my parents recently, and she works in the milk industry, and she does statistics where she shares how much the milk consumption is going up and down. And I asked her, has it gone down at all in the last couple of years? Because there has been a rise of like vegan milk substitute, like soy milk, almond milk, oat milk. People put it in their coffee, which is the most effortless way to remove dairy from your diet, in my opinion, if people have normal milk, and then just replacing that. And then obviously also, especially, she was just focusing on the statistics in Germany, and Germany is one of the countries with the most vegans. At least it has been like that a while ago. I don't know if that's still how it is, but I can definitely tell, no matter which city I go to, there are so many vegan restaurants, and I meet so many vegans like wherever I go. And yeah, so I would have guessed that it would have gone down, but she literally told me that it almost hasn't gone down at all. Like there's no significant notice. And of course that's just dairy. Then there's of course also meat, which that I'm pretty sure must have gone down, because like there are so many amazing meat substitutes, and people are becoming more aware of the impact that meat can have on the body. So yeah, I thought it has gone down, but apparently it's still such a small movement, and I just feel like we can't really change things on the outside forcefully by going on the streets and like protesting. And like I think Anonymous for the Voiceless is a great movement, but an analogy I was thinking about when I was writing the notes for this video is that recently there was someone coming, ringing the bell at my apartment and wanting some donations for some charity. And he only wanted, I needed to fill in my card, and it would have been like a membership where something comes in regularly. I said, if you just want to accept cash, I'm happy to give you 50 euros or 100 euros, but I don't want any subscription. I don't want any connection to my card. And he didn't accept that, and he made me feel like really, really guilty for it. And then I was just like, okay, even if he would accept it now, I don't feel like giving him any money because he made me feel so guilty. And that's the exact same principle with veganism. If we make people feel guilty for eating animal products, they're not going to want to stop. And I think if we truly want to bring about a lasting change on this world, then we need, like, you cannot solve a problem on the same level that it occurred, and we need like a little bit more of a like compassionate, loving approach where we are just good examples, and whatever else we cannot control, all we can control is what we do. And it's another reason why I no longer condemn people who eat meat, because all I can do literally is like my own action, and that will always be like, you know, choosing plants and being compassionate with the animals and not supporting these industries. But that is all I can do. As long as I try to control anything on the outside, I'm only going to make myself miserable, because it's just not possible. So yeah, there is no way that you can tell someone, hey, you need to stop eating meat. If people ask me and they come to me and want to know more about it, I'm happy to share it, but I don't want to lecture anyone. I'm not like like someone who just like forcefully wants to try and convey people to, you know, in some way, I feel like nutrition has become like a second form of religion for a lot of people. And yeah, I have just found that it doesn't really work. And the last thing I want to say is that by being so forceful and kind of obnoxious sometimes and trying to change people so much by telling them what to do, I do feel like we lose the respect from society as a movement. And yeah, I think if we really care about the animals, we need to gain respect for what we're doing. And as I already mentioned earlier, I think the best way to do that is just to be outstanding examples when it comes to our health, when it comes to our mental and emotional well-being, and how we treat the people around us, not just the animals, but also the people. Because if you're a miserable person to be around, then people are not going to take inspiration from you in any area. So yeah, I think really focusing on ourselves is going to be what is going to bring about the best lasting, sustainable change for this movement. If you want to know the uncomfortable truth of a raw vegan diet, which is another stepping stone you can take if you dive into that whole of health and nutrition, make sure to check out this video and maybe see you there. Bye.